Here we are in gorgeous New York City, home of traffic, among many other things here in New York. Congestion is becoming a problem all over the world, certainly all over the United States.
People want to know, like, what can I do? One of the best things you can do, if you have access to it, carpool or use public transportation. Your daily commute is a big part of this congestion that we see all around us. So if you have access to it, here in New York, it's so simple. Not always that simple everywhere else, but if you could carpool, great.
And one of the things that's available in some cities is something called car sharing. And this isn't just getting in with your neighbor and carpooling. These are organizations where you have partial ownership and have rights to using a car without having to own one yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the average American uses their car for 66 minutes a day. When you join a car sharing service, you have a membership, you log into the computer, you see what car is close to you. You can go get that car, they give you a code to get in. It's really simple. You actually drive the car for the 2 hours that you need it, you park it back someplace else, and somebody else comes and does the same thing 2 hours later. So you're not using this machine for 66 minutes and then parking it for the rest of the day.
Another thing, there's so many little things, again, with driving a car or any vehicle, that if you make a few changes, you can have a big impact. And I'll tell you, one of my pet peeves is no matter where I go, you see vehicles that are just sitting there, pulled over to the side, maybe they're waiting for somebody and they're idling.
Yeah, idling, anything more than 10 seconds is completely unnecessary. If your car was created after 1970, it doesn't take any more fuel to shut it down and start it back up again. You see people waiting for their kids at school in a line and they're idling their cars and these little kids are sucking in all this exhaust. Just shut it down, start it back up again and drive.
And hey, if you have to have a minute or two without the air conditioning or without the heat, the car will maintain the temperature for a few minutes. You'll be fine. So it's just about making those small changes. What else can I do if I have to have that car and I don't have an alternative, a good public transportation alternative? I don't have a car share program that'll work in my community. What can I do with my own vehicle that will have an impact?
First and foremost, make sure your tires are inflated to the right pressure. So check the pressure on your tire that you're supposed to. Get one of those little gauges, check it. It actually can increase your gas mileage by 2 miles per gallon, just making sure that they're inflated to the right pressure. That can save you $60 over the course of a year.
No kidding. Just
yeah,
a tire
$12 tire gauge and $60 savings.
And there's usually air at every filling station, so that's not a big deal.
That's super easy. Another thing you can do is something that I don't do very well. Follow the speed limit. For every mile per hour you go over 55, you actually decrease your gas mileage by a factor of 2%. So actually, if you're going 75 miles per hour, you have half the fuel efficiency that you have at 55.
Heather told me there's one other thing you can do to make sure you stick to the speed limit.
Set your cruise control. Okay. It's one of the things that I need to always remind myself to do because, again, I like to drive my car. So if you set your cruise control, you can actually save a lot on your gas mileage just because you're keeping yourself at that 55 mile per gallon or miles per hour, and it'll actually get you there within the same amount of time, but in a better way for the environment.
And for somebody like myself who may not always be able to control that lead foot, it locks me in.
Yeah, also keeps you from getting tickets, strangely enough.
Okay, now let's dispel a few myths out there. I know some people who will say, don't ever run the air conditioning.
Yeah, the air conditioning, absolutely. If you're driving around town, if you can roll down your windows and get the same kind of cooling effect, roll down your windows. If you're driving more than 45 miles per hour, though, you actually decrease your fuel efficiency if you have the windows down because there's wind drag on the car. So in those cases, you should probably roll up the windows and put the AC on.
Okay, so you're not saying sweat and be uncomfortable.
Absolutely not. I mean, I'm certainly not going to do it, so I'm not going to tell anyone else to.